Yes, my dear students, let's get started with the 1.2, that is a pedagogy of a different language and its critical analysis. So the first thing is that it's a dialect. Dialect is a regional form of a language everyone speaks in a particular area or a form of their own community. English distinguished by a vocabulary and its grammar. In the world, there are different type of races and people who speak different type of dialects. For example, Australians may say arvu, while others may say afternoon, right? There are for afternoon they call it as arvu and others call it as afternoon. That is up to them in which language they prefer to speak, right? It is called as dialect where the language changes. And in a London, Cockney may say I done it, others may say I did it. Thus, what's the meaning of a dialect? A dialect is a language variation spoken by a particular ethnic, social, or a regional group and is an element of the group, which is collective identity. Right? For example, in the Spanish, you must say, I don't want nothing. This is a dialect is a regional form of a language. For example, Kannada is the first language of Karnataka, right? Which is spoken by statewide. It is spoken differently by the different people living in a different region within the state, right? You can consider it as like Bangalore people speak totally different Kannada, and we Hubli Dharwadians speak totally different. Coor people speak different Kannada, and North Karnataka people speak different Kannada. Fine, language is one only, that is Kannada, but dialect is different, which they use different dialects and a variation in the language which they produce. For example, there is a dialect in other languages also. In Urdu language also, Nafis Urdu is a different and Dakhnavi Urdu is entirely different and pure Urdu is different. In totality, different from our local Urdu, what we are speaking today. Similarly, English is spoken differently in the part of UK and in the part of UK it is known as Yorkish English and different from Scottish English. A few type of different registered language also. For example, what is a registered language? Registered language is particular language which is used in the particular place itself. For example, there is a court. In the court there is a different sort of language, like there is a judge, there is a prosecutor, there is advocate, there is a fees, there is a complaint, there is a victim, order, please, right? Yeah, are you following people? Right, like IPC section, evidence my lord, these all type of expressions are not used in the classroom, right? Will you tell your children order please, sit down? Yes, we'll tell sit down, but advocate, they will call us advocate? No, they'll call us a teacher. Teacher, students, bell, principal, that is a school registered language. And the registered language I am speaking about, that is a judiciary. Okay, now let's shift to the standard language. What is a standard language? Dialect we have understood, registered we have understood. Let's move to the standard language. A standard language is also a dialect. A standard dialect. It is a language variety by a group of a people in this public discourse. Right? There are pluricentric and the monocentric. In a standard language, eventually and alternatively, variety becomes a standard by a process of standardization in organized for description in a grammar and discentration, encoded with reference work. You can just go through these notes. I'll not read it out like this only. I'll just tell you in the simple words what is a standard language. Standard language is that which is used in the official, which has a recognition, which has its own vocabulary, and it do not borrow the vocabulary from other language. Also, it has a particular written dictionary along with its meaning, recognized, used, and nationalized. Have you got my point? Right. What are the characteristics of the standard language? See here, that's what I have mentioned. It should have a recognized dictionary, it should have a recognized grammar, it should have a recognized standard pronunciation, it should have a linguistic institution which defines its images, norms, academic functions, and real academic explanation, right? Constitutional legal status, frequency of official language. It should have a constitutional recognition. Effective people who can all the religion caste people can understand that language. A literary canon, it should also have a literary background, convenient in speaking, popular and acceptance in the community, used in the broadcasting of media, print, etc. Few national language, which is Arabic, Chinese, Dutch, English, Filipino, French, German, Georgian, Greek, Hindi, Hungarian, Irish, Italian, Latin, Manchu, Mongolian, Russian, and Spanish. In India, there are few standard language, that is Hindi, Sanskrit, Kannada, Bengali, Telugu, Gujarati, Rajasthani, Assami, and Bhojpuri. Language diversity in India are like many other countries in like this. Part would India is a plurilingual or pluriethnic? You can tell me that. This is it. It was a very short explanation. You can go through the notes for a detailed understanding. And if you have any queries, you can reach me anytime, anyway. Okay. See you. Thank you.